Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I'm your host, Naveen Ganglani. So, this was a really fun pod. We talked about a few things. I brought in Jason and Ray. If you guys have listened to the podcast before, you know they're the guys I bring in to talk movies, TV shows, and we're going to discuss a recent film that came out, Argylle, and also do a fun little fantasy draft like process of selecting our favorite upcoming shows slash films for 2024. But before we get to those parts, I am going to have Jason come in a little earlier to talk about some recent UAAP news, considering that it might be the off season for college basketball, but the action is still heavy in other areas. Now, before we get there, though, a quick word from our sponsor, Get Blued.
Attention Ateneo enthusiasts! The thrill of UAAP Season 86 second semester sports is here, and Loyola Heights is buzzing with excitement. Now is the perfect moment to become a crucial part of the Ateneo six-man, cheering the varsity teams to victory. Don't just watch. Immerse yourself in the passion, the camaraderie, and the sheer amazement of the games. And what better way to manifest your unyielding support than by flaunting the latest gear from Get Blue? The brand new collection is a testament to the spirit of Ateneo, capturing the essence of victory and the pride that comes with being part of something extraordinary. Visit the link in our bio for an exclusive look at Get Blue's latest collection. Discover a range of high-quality apparel, from shirts to accessories, designed to elevate your game day experience. Show off your team colors and immerse yourself in the Blue Eagles' journey with pride. This season, it's not just about watching. It's about being seen as a true Blue Eagle supporter. Get Blued is your gateway to showcasing your loyalty, passion, and love for the game. Elevate your style and let the world know where your heart truly belongs. Get ready, get set, and get geared up with Get Blued.
Okay, Jason. So, we're recording this Sunday night, Feb 4, Saturday, Feb 3. LaSalle, I wouldn't say officially, but at least in terms of, public appearances, Kean Baclaan, the former NU Bulldog, was with the Green Archers. It was an interesting day because some of the DLSU players from Team B and some of the Team A guys played in Pinoy Liga. They dropped the game against UST, a UST team that slowly and surely is looking more and more interesting as we get to season 87. They're promising. They're exciting. And I think they have some under the radar guys fans are going to enjoy watching. But so Baclaan is there at LaSalle Green Hills at the homecoming. And Jacob Cortez is there as well. Essentially almost the whole team was there except for KQ. I think KQ is out of town, but Michael Phillips is there and Policarpio is there. So Kian is there. Fans are taking pictures with him. Lasallians are taking pictures with him. And it's official. The former NU Bulldog starting point guard, who, by the way, was with the LaSalle Zabel for his high school career and then moved to UST at first. And then after, slightly being at UST, went to National University, played 2 seasons with the Bulldogs, helped lead them to the Final Four both times, including a good, elimination round showing. And now he's going to do 1 year of residency, season 87, and then come in with Jacob Cortez, season 88, for the defending UAP champion Green Archers. So at first thought, Jason, how do you foresee a Baclaan Cortez backcourt pairing working for the Green Archers?
Explosive. God, explosive. Fast, explosive. Both can handle the ball. Both can shoot the ball. You know, if they're subbing for each other, there's no loss of talent if one's coming in for the other. I think it's also a way. Both of these signings are ways to keep Kevin Gambao intact. Prevent him from turning pro. It's like your friends are here. Don't leave that.
Exactly. Buddy
I
buddies.
mean, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, hell, I would do it. If I could keep Kevin Campbell for 8 years, I would too. You know how much I'm an admirer of KQ now. So that guy, I think he's the linchpin for everything. But getting him two quality guards, Nelly's gone, Mark Nonoy's gone, and look who's coming in. That's as far as experience goes, their experience, they've been through the fire, they've been in big game situations. especially Jacob Cortez. But Baclaan's no slouch, no slouch at all, and he's going back to wearing green and white, as you mentioned earlier. He's from Zobel, so he's used to the LaSalle system, and I think this all this all has to go back to Coach Topex. He's really good at developing guards. It's the reason why Nelly didn't leave and he played his final season because Coach Topex was coming in. And I think these two guys saw that. And, as a former guard himself, point guard himself in Topex, I think he really has a good handle on teaching the right way to play this position, particularly now. Yeah.
Yes. Now, to some degree, Cortez Baclaan, it's somewhat like Nonoy Nelly, but not exactly, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense. I feel
Yeah.
that Cortez plays with a good pace, like Nelly did, in terms of trying to control the basketball and the speed of the game. I don't think Cortez is the playmaker creator for others that Nelly was. At least not the game
Mm.
manager Nelly was, but I think Cortez could be a better scorer than Nelly was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baclaan to me is somewhat like Nonoy, high volume shooter. He won't have a lot of like 50%, 45% field goal shooting games. You'll see some games where he probably shoots below 30%, but he can penetrate, he can kick out,
Yeah.
he can get you a bucket one-on-one sometimes if you need him to, and he can push the pace in transition, which, and you pair those two guys together in the press, maybe create some turnovers. You could get easy transition opportunities. Michael Phillips has said he wants to play all 5 seasons with DLSU. So even after season 87, he should be there in season 88
Mm.
with these Green Archers. You probably might still have Policarpio there in season 88, unless he
Yeah.
makes a major leap in 87 and then decides to go pro after that. And then who knows, maybe KQ is still there for 88. I'm sure that Kian's going to try and convince him, like, hey, one more
Oh,
year,
yeah.
sige pa, yeah. Like,
Definitely. Definitely.
like if LaSalle wins in 87, Kian will be like, sige, 3P tayo, magkasama tayo, right? And if LaSalle
I think
doesn't,
win
yeah,
or lose, they're gonna try to keep KQ. I mean, they're like, oh, natalo tayo, di bawi tayo, di ba? Same thing.
exactly, yeah. And of course, when you're LaSalle, you always have new recruits coming in. They still have some guys they're trying to recruit behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I believe James Nakwa from Australia should be joining them in March. That once he finalizes his schooling there. So let's see what he brings to the table. They're loaded for the next few years. I think the goal for DLSU now that they've won the championship, the next step is, okay, how can we possibly win multiple championships? How can we turn this into a possible run of consecutive championships or finals appearances? How do we have the coach? They extended the coach's contract, so that should be set for the next few years. They've established the culture. They have a great strength and conditioning program with Mixayton and Jello Vito leading the way. They have an experienced coaching staff. Caloy Garcia is there, Coach Monase, Gian Nazario. They have the backing of multiple contributors, Enrique Razon, Carpio from Davao, and a few others, of course, that have been there for a long time. And they have I think the most important thing, Jason, that they accomplished in season 86 was they've always had the support of the LaSalle community, but they have the belief of the LaSalle community again. They have that LaSalle crowd again.
Yeah.
And these things, in college basketball in the UAP, like as someone who follows Ateneo, you know that these things sometimes can be like eras, right? There'll be a 4 or 5 year span for the very best programs where they're dominant, they're competing. Maybe they'll be down for a few years as they try to rebuild, and then they'll try to find their way back up. To some degree, LaSalle winning in 86 in Topex's first year some people consider it overachieving. I feel like people felt that they had the talent and ability to make the finals, but not sure if they had what it takes. Speaking of the start of the season, because when we got to the later
Yeah.
part of the season, I think it was pretty evident that they had the potential to win, and that's what they did. And now they have the potential to maybe win a few more. Of course, given that health is good, given that players are able to connect with each other, especially the new guys coming in. But in terms of recruitment, at least they did their job this offseason.
Belief is a fascinating thing, Naveen, because, way back 2001, 2002, that's what Ateneo was screaming, believe, believe, because this was the era of Alasal 4P. And we
Mm-mm.
couldn't beat LaSalle until 2002 happened. And we had these signs with believe on it. And, it's been tossed around as well by other schools over the course of 20 plus years. But you noticed in LaSalle's season, although, okay, as the season progressed, more and more players off the bench were contributing. That's a fascinating thing. It wasn't just the starters. You all knew KQ and Nelly and Nonoy and Phillips, but then you started noticing these other names, like Joaquin Manuel, no, no. Like Policarpio and all of them. You
Escandor, Joshua
suddenly,
David, yeah.
yeah, Escandor and David. Those were, some of them may have been on the roster before, but maybe underused by Manong Derek, but Topex, I don't think it's a stretch. I don't think it's a stretch to say when he came in and he said he wanted to change the culture, he imposed that culture on LaSalle, and it might have taken a while, but by the middle of the season, by the second round, they were rolling, and you could feel it. I think the LaSalle community could feel it, and that's why they started coming in droves again to support this team. It's what every team wants to capture, that lightning in a bottle feeling. And once you taste one, you want to come back for more because you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. Admittedly, the 2002 Ateneo team it overachieved, but it was a one-hit wonder. That's why I was so happy when they won five straight, and Tab's team won three straight or four out of five. So you want to keep coming back, and I think it was very, very smart of LaSalle to not rest on its laurels, already look towards, not just this coming season, but to the future by getting Baclaan and Cortez and all these other recruits that are coming in because they've tasted it. They saw how good it felt again, and all those the celebrations all around Taft, and I'm sure here in LSGH over the past weekend that was I saw some pictures and vids from friends like Tintin Gamboa. They're really happy to be among the winners again. So hey, all credit to Topex and everybody behind them. And this is ensuring that they will be competitive for years to come. They will not be satisfied with anything less than a finals appearance, or a finals win. I'll go back to back. So yeah, that's what I think.
When you think of season 88, one of the thoughts that come to my mind is how it's going to be a season where you're going to see a lot of top-notch point guards or, combo
Oh,
guards in UAP
oh yeah.
basketball. So we mentioned two of them, Cortez and Baclaan, and now La Salle has two of them. We now know that Remogat is headed to University of the Philippines. So you think of that combination of him and Janjan Felicilda leading the way.
Yeah.
By the way, LaSalle, one underrated guard they're going to have also is Matthew Rubico from the NCAA Juniors division, who
Mhm.
redshirted season 86. He's been performing well in the offseason so far. Then you look at
What about
NU,
Melesio, Navs? Is he a point guard?
June Melesio.
Yeah. Is he a
You
shooting guard?
He's more of a combo guard for UST right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, look, okay, UST. So, Padergaw and Paranada, right?
Yeah.
If they play out their final seasons because they're eligible 87. So, if they both play out 88, and then you look at NU, yes, they lost Baclaan, but they also still have Steve Nash Enriquez, and they have Reinhard Yumamoy, who I think is
Mamoy.
who's set to have a
Mamoy
breakout
killed
campaign.
Ateneo, man.
That
I'm
game,
never
right?
gonna forget how Mamoy killed Ateneo last season, man.
It,
Destroyed us.
and then Ateneo, I think by season 88, they're going to have a lethal 1-2 combo of Bahay and maybe Lebron Nieto. At that point, will be a key part. And then FEU, JR Pasaol should be entering, and he's a talented player. Adamson, Coach Nash always develops guards well. Montebon is already
Yeah.
one of those. guards on the rise. University of the East, I don't know who they're going to recruit because Wilson will be done after 87, and now they don't have Remogat. But let's see
Yeah.
if they recruit someone. A lot of talented guards in UAP basketball, Jason, over the next few
Yeah.
seasons.
I was thinking that leading up to our conversation right now, and I was really thinking, like, God, these point guards, it's buhan ng takbuhan. So, they're gonna be running like crazy. All these schools are gonna have to build up their cardio. These big men are gonna have to really work on their cardio to catch up with the guards because these guards are gonna push the pace. And these are not just scoring guards. They're smart guards. They know how to handle the ball. They know how to look for the open man. Our guy Jared Bahay won all those awards in the Sisafi, and Remogat, he's been killing it for UE the past couple of seasons. So there's no doubt that I have no doubt that he's going to adapt well to UP with a more stacked lineup around him. Padrigao, of course, he won us a title, and he was an MVP runner-up. So him being in UST, that automatically makes them dangerous. Plus, now it's 1 year under an RSA Alfrancis Chua supported program. So you know that it's going to be better. I don't know how Fortsky is going to develop under Coach Pido necessarily, because I've always seen Coach Pido more of as a rara guy rather than an X's and O's kind of guy. But can't argue with the 2016 title, with a 2006 title. So there's that.
That's
Yeah, I
where
really do
that's where
wonder.
Coach Juno coming in is gonna help them because that's where Coach
Yeah,
Juno,
yeah, that's a big
that's
deal,
his
Coach
strength.
Juno, because Coach Juno also won a title with LaSalle as head coach. It's so underrated, that title that he won.
Mm-mm.
So I really do hope that UE recovers, because Remugat was I think he was the brightest star for the Red Warriors the past couple of seasons, and this was a massive gut punch to their program. Massive gut punch.
Well, we're going to have a lot more time to talk UAP for sure, and there will probably be a few more off-season happenings that will excite fans. I'm certain of it. Well, we'll have time to talk about that in the future, like I said. For now, we will get into a discussion about Argylle, and we will bring Ray in. But before we do so, a quick word from our sponsor, Fitspire.
Are you ready to transform your home into a premium fitness haven? Look no further than Fitspire, your go-to destination for top-notch home gym equipment designed to take your fitness to unprecedented heights. Immerse yourself in a world of possibilities with their versatile range of premium gear, including yoga equipment for serene workouts, adjustable dumbbells and kettlebells for customized strength training, roller wheels and push-up bars to sculpt those abs and arms, jump ropes, foam rollers, and stability balls for an all-rounded workout experience, stylish and efficient cooling towels to keep you refreshed, and sport water bottles for staying hydrated in style. Fitspire's equipment is not only durable but also space-saving, allowing you to create your dream workout space without sacrificing aesthetics or functionality. Whether you're a fitness novice or a seasoned pro, their collection caters to all levels. And here's the real game changer. As a special treat for our podcast listeners, we're offering an exclusive 10% off on your purchase. Simply use the code word NAVSEFFECT10 upon checkout at www.sunbeamslifestyle.com. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing Fitspire. But that's not all. For an even more seamless experience, download the Sunbeams Lifestyle app, available on both iOS and Android platforms. Browse their collection, stay updated on fitness trends and exclusive deals. Transform your fitness routine from ordinary to extraordinary with Fitspire. Don't just dream about your fitness goals, achieve them in the comfort of your own home. Visit www.sunbeamslifestyle.com, use code NAPSEFFECT10, and let Fitspire be your fitness companion on this incredible journey.
Okay, we're now joined by Ray. And if you haven't checked his page yet, it's called Ray View on Instagram and on Facebook. He reviews some of the best movies and shows out brand new. Reviews are instantly up most of the time. And if you've listened to the podcast before, you're well aware of who he is. He's joined again by Jason, who's been here since earlier. And this is the first time the three of us are getting on a podcast in 2024 to discuss film and TV. We're going to have a fun little draft concept a little later, but for now, we're going to talk about Argylle. A few days ago, I want to say well, first of all, I should say thank you to SM Cinemas and Universal for the invite to the Argylle premiere at SM Aura. As always, they do these premieres really good, and it's a great event. A lot of fun people you always run into. Now, the movie itself, it came in with a big budget, and I think you can even make the argument that considering what was put into making this movie happen, the production scale, the effects, the action, the names of the
Editing.
cast, everything. So according to Variety, it was a 200 million production budget to make Argylle come to the screen. And by the way, the goal for this from the mind of Matthew
Matthew
Vaugh.
Vaughn.
Exactly, the same person who brought us Kingsman, which I did enjoy. I've enjoyed that series. And the goal for this is to make it a series, maybe a trilogy, kind of like Kingsman, prequels and sequels. Now, according to this article by Variety, so far, the espionage action comedy only saw 6.5 million in ticket sales from 3,605 North American venues across opening day and preview screenings. So not a good start. And the film itself, my quick personal take is I felt it actually got off to an impressive note. I like the concept. I like the alternating rather of, now by the way, I should warn our listeners, we're going to enter spoiler territory in this semi-review of Argylle. So you have an author and she's writing a book series, and we're kind of getting a glimpse of what her mind is because we're seeing how, you know, these characters, including Henry Cavill, is playing out the book series. Sometimes you even see it like rewind, forward, text being written, and then it turns out that there are layers to this. The reason why she's so good at writing espionage novels is because, well, spoiler alert, she actually was a spy herself and totally forgot about it because of a quote unquote accident. I don't want to spoil too much of the plot because there might be those who haven't watched it yet, and or those who want to be spoiled about what happens, but at the same time not really know the exact details. So if you guys do have the time, is it worth going to the cinema to watch? I would lean towards yes. It's not like a confident yes. It's not like a yeah, you have to go see it like Oppenheimer, yes, 1000%. It's not on that level, right? I don't know. It started promising to me. I felt the comedy was, some hit or miss, mostly hit, at least in the beginning. Then later on, it just felt like the film was jumping from one plot line to the other, and you couldn't really grasp well, you could grasp the macro perspective of what they were trying to accomplish with the jumping plot lines, the twists and the turns. It is a spy espionage movie after all.
Yeah.
But then like okay, I met with a friend recently, and we were talking about social media algorithms and how to build like branding, right? And he basically told me for some social media platforms, okay lang maging chop suey ka eh. Chop suey, like, you mix different things
Yeah.
together and you can still like make it grow. But then there are others that you really can't have that approach. And to do that approach, to me at least, when it comes to film, you have to execute it very well, almost flawlessly. I think this movie tried to do that but wasn't able to do it. I still think overall it was an okay movie. It's somewhere between okay and good for me, but not
Okay.
exactly great. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I agree. Because it really did get off to a good start with, we were all under the impression that the Argyle character of Henry Cavill is this super spy like James Bond. And it's revealed that he's only been written by the Ellie character, who's Bryce Dallas Howard. She's written about it. She's written a couple of books about the Argylle adventurer, and suddenly when she's on a train to supposedly go visit her mom, she's approached by this guy who looks dirty, mukhang gusgusin in Sam Rock. Who I love. I mean, Sam Rockwell's a great character actor,
Yeah.
and for him to be in a lead role here, that's great. I mean, I just watched Galaxy Quest again a few weeks ago, and that's an early Sam Rockwell movie, and
Mhm.
it's really underrated in comedies because he's always this creepy villainous guy. So I love
Mhm.
seeing him here in a lighter role, almost like a romantic lead. And yeah, it gets convoluted at the end. I think the word really
Mhm.
is convoluted because, like you said earlier, Naveen, it goes layers and layers and layers of plot, trying to show that Ellie was a former spy, and she was actually a killer on behalf of Ritter, who's Bryan Cranston. You know, again, we got to mention it's star-studded cast,
Yeah.
Yep.
super star-studded cast. Catherine O'Hara, Bryan Cranston, Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell. That's off the top of my head, pa lang, ang dami pa nila. And as usual with the Matthew Vaughn film, there's great action sequences. The train fight in particular, fantastic editing.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
When she'd see the Sam Rockwell character of Aidan, who'd be transfixed suddenly, it becomes Argylle, it becomes Henry Cavill. In a flash, ang bilis ng editing, ang galing. Super fight sequence at the end, which is great also. The oil, I think everybody
Yeah.
can appreciate that.
Oh
Right?
yeah. The oil
Yeah.
skating.
Yeah. Oh, Samuel L. Jackson is also there. Richard E. Grant in a small cameo role. So
Mhm.
it's a star-studded cast, but I think it tries to do too much. I think it
Exactly.
really tries to do too much. It becomes a send-up of spy films. It tries to be intelligent. I love that, they don't hide the fact that Bryce Dallas Howard, at her age, she's kind of a heavier woman already.
Mhm.
She's not the ingenue that she used to be. She's already comfortable in her own skin. She also directs like her dad, Ron Howard. She directed a few episodes of The Mandalorian, and I love those episodes. So, you know, um, bravo for the heavier woman that she's shown kicking some serious ass here. But kulang eh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
I end up saying kulang eh because in the effort to put everything together in a pot, it becomes lacking.
Mm.
Maybe Ray can explain it better.
No, no, no. And also just to add the rainbow gas bombs fight sequence at the end. That was like somewhere in between whoa and what the heck at the same time. Like you didn't really know how to
Yeah.
feel about it. It was like interesting and entertaining and funny enough, but also it felt so over the top that while it's
Yeah.
happening, you're kind of debating whether I like it or not. And you did mention the star-studded cast, which I think was one of the selling points of this film entering the movie, right? If you're entering the cinema and you see the cast, you're like, okay,
Uh-huh.
this is interesting. But then I started thinking that to some degree that actually worked against them because we saw Dua Lipa for what, like 5 minutes. We saw
Yeah, actually,
John
it's like
Cena.
a
Yeah.
glorified cameo, eh, 'di ba? I
Yeah,
mean, if you look at the
exactly.
poster, she's front and center right beside Henry Cavill, but she only appears like for the first 10 minutes, 'di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
it's like a switch and bait and switch, 'di ba? Parang gano'n.
exactly. And
Yeah.
even
Oo.
Samuel
Yep.
L. Jackson is right next to Henry Cavill.
Exactly,
And
oo.
he didn't just have a cameo, but you didn't exactly like feel his presence as well. But Ray, what are your thoughts overall?
Okay, so like what I was telling you a while ago, I enjoyed it. I mean, there are parts of it that I enjoy, but it's really a flawed film. And to be honest, I almost hated it. I don't, ano ba? I'm a bit lukewarm, pero I almost hated it. May mga parts lang that I think redeemed it for me naman kahit paano. Okay, so
Mm.
I think like I'm gonna zag a little bit to what you guys said. I think you really have to buy into the idea of it at the
Mm.
start, which I couldn't do. I think it was the idea of an author being able to guess what's happening before everything was explained. I think that was too silly for me. So actually,
Okay.
even though it got convoluted, like in the third act of the film, that explanation makes sense to me better than the what they were trying to do in the beginning.
Yeah.
So yun, and then I thought although Bryce Dallas Howard, we all know she's very talented. She has range. Actually, there are scenes na kita mo on cue she would cry, but I think she was miscast. I don't think she does action. Although she was in the Jurassic World films, I don't think she can
Mostly
do.
running.
Yeah, mostly running with high heels. Actually, may
Yeah.
part dito she took off the high heels. I think that was like an Easter
Yeah.
egg, diba? I don't think she's convincing to play an action star. Parang there was a part where she was wearing a gown. Actually, parang kawig niya nga si Adele eh. 'Di ba? Parang it's like you're watching Adele doing action. 'Di ba? Tapos as for Sam Rockwell, I'm a big fan of Sam Rockwell. Like Jason said, I mean, he's a great actor, he's a great comedian. I'd rather that they didn't have like a romantic angle between
Mm.
the two characters. Parang I don't think there's any chemistry there. As Jason said, Matthew Vaughn is known for action. So dun sa Kingsman series, Kingsman franchise, that's what we really go there for, right? That's what we expect from Matthew Vaughn movies. So dito sa Argylle, it's like that also. The action set pieces are great, but I think it's for me it's too gimmicky. I mean,
Mm.
it's nice to look at, it's new, but if you look at it um in the context of the story, it doesn't make sense. Di ba? Why would
Yeah.
they do that in the context of the story? Parang it's just like Matthew Vaughn, kasi sabi nga from the twisted mind of Matthew Vaughn, di ba? So parang
Mm.
he had a lot of ideas that he threw out there, and the studios probably just went, "Oh, sige, let's do that. Okay, that sounds good." I think that's the confidence in Matthew Vaughn because he made the Kingsman movies. Pero yun nga, generally it's just not my cup of tea, I think.
Right. What I thought about when it comes to Matthew Vaughn is, well, comparing it to Kingsman, naturally.
Mhm.
At least with Kingsman, it felt like a straight line to some degree, what the plot was supposed to be, what the story aimed to be, where it wanted to go. This
Mhm.
one felt a little more up and down, roller coastery. And I think when you just add that layer to the fact, to the whole, if you just add the Matthew Vaughn filter to a movie, right? Everything he
Mhm.
wants to do in a movie with the action sequences and the script writing and all of that, it just felt a little like, you know, you're right. The word you chose, Jason, was right. I think it was a roller coaster. Now, I don't want people to think that we're saying it was an awful, horrible film. Well, at
Mhm.
least in my perspective, like if I paid like let's say how much are movie tickets nowadays? Depends on the cinema you go to, I guess. But
395 sa Green Hills,
Yeah.
dudes.
Oh.
Ga-
395 sa Green Hills.
gone are the days of 80, 90 peso tickets.
Ako, I saw it in a recliner seat, 500 pesos pa nga eh.
Oh, okay.
Di ba?
So let's say you paid 500 pesos, right? Recliner
Yeah.
seat, may popcorn ka na sabihin natin,
Yeah.
theoretically, and then you have a drink na also.
Mhm.
Would you like leave that movie saying, I wish I could have spent my 500 pesos on something else? Personally, would not say that, but how
Mhm.
about the both of you?
You know, for the action sequences, sulit. I think we all agree that the action sequences were
Mhm.
great. But,
Yep.
plot-wise, you guys mentioned earlier na with the Kingsman series, it's more linear. It was, starts here, gets here, then there's a conclusion. I think it's because that those were based on graphic novels.
Yes.
Mhm.
There was original comics already done that led to that. This is an original story from Matthew Vaughn, and I don't think it's that good. Plot wise,
Mhm.
daming butas eh.
Yeah.
Pretty to look at, pretty to look at.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's empty, and I would feel bad if okay, naka-recliner ka, I fall asleep. I might have fallen asleep. I base a lot of enjoyment that I have in a movie if I don't look at my watch throughout the film.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mhm.
I think this ran 2 hours plus, guys, diba?
Yes,
Or something like
exactly.
that.
Oo.
two
Yeah.
hours 20, I think, or
A
2 hours
lot
Yeah.
of
10.
time.
Yeah.
Oo.
I look at my watch a lot of times during this movie. It's
Mhm.
like, when is this going to end?
Mhm.
When are they gonna get to the conclusion? When is this going to make sense? You know? Sorry if I'm being overly critical, but yeah, I kind of feel like that in the end.
No, I get you because I think it was fair to say that a lot of people entering the movie house had a lot of expectations given
Yeah.
again the star-studded cast, the high budget, the fact that it was a Matthew Vaughn film.
Yeah.
Ray, any final thoughts before we all give our grades?
Ako naman, just to answer that same question, I think for movie lovers such as ourselves, where we watch like movies weekly almost, di ba? I think sometimes kasi good or bad, parang you find enjoyment in watching movies.
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's like that for me. Like if you're like a foodie, di ba? You try out different
Mm.
restaurants. Sometimes the food isn't so good. Sometimes it's great, but that's your enjoyment, eh.
Right.
So for me, I didn't think that it was a waste, but I think like for casual moviegoers, it could be a waste. It could pwedeng hindi kasi for some I think the action would be the appeal. So that would be enough for them. But probably for the more discerning viewer, yun nga like Jason said, they would look at the plot holes, diba? And it would be lacking.
Now, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this matter as well. Rapid fire, essentially. This is really the third major film that Apple Studios bankrolled, right? Recently, you have Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yes, sir.
and Napoleon. Now,
Yeah.
admittedly, I haven't watched either film yet. It's on my list, definitely. But what do you think, the both of you so far, when it comes to Apple's foray into Hollywood, essentially? Now, they have the funds to, let's say this
Yeah.
film doesn't end up being a huge financial success. They still have the funds and the capital, given everything else the Apple brand is, to, take a few more risks along the way. But so far, these three films we've mentioned, what do you guys think of their foray so far into Hollywood? Let's start with you, Jason.
It's hit or miss right now. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon, but I wasn't able to watch Napoleon. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon in the same cinema where I watched this movie. And when I watched Killers of the Flower Moon, it's admittedly long. It's 3 hours, but Apple has been able to get big name directors, big name actors. Killers of the Flower Moon, Scorsese. Napoleon, that's Ridley Scott. Uh, for this, it's Matthew Vaughn. Actors, you got De Niro and DiCaprio. On one hand, you got Joaquin Phoenix, and here that star-studded cast. So clearly, again, like you just said, Naveen, they can bankroll any of these if they're loaded with the funds. Obviously, with those first two movies, they were trying to go for awards. Habol talaga awards. You don't get Scorsese if you're not going for awards. With Ridley Scott, he's already admitted that it's not an accurate biopic of Napoleon, but he wanted to do his own interpretation of it. And I think it's been shut out from the major awards. And it's my fault that I haven't seen it. I did want to watch it. Killers of the Flower Moon, that final hour is gripping, amazing acting, amazing story. But leading up to it, it can be a bit slow unless you keep noticing that this is a master at work in Scorsese and De Niro and DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone, who's a revelation. You know, it's a good first three movies for them, for Apple. You can see that, you know, hit or miss. In the long run, you hope that they'll come up with more hits because they do have their own streaming service also. So it's directly from the cinema straight to their streaming service after a couple of weeks, couple of months. That's going to feed into it. Plus, we're still feeding them with our devices. So that's what I think.
Got you. Ray, any thoughts on these
Yeah,
maps?
ako naman, I think so far, the Apple releases have been a mixed bag. So like Jason said, hit or miss. So Killers of the Flower Moon, I saw that. I thought it was a great movie. Mahaba lang talaga. But Oppenheimer was long as well, di ba? Actually,
Yeah.
if you're asking me, of course my horse in the Oscar race is Oppenheimer. But if Oppenheimer doesn't get it, I'm completely fine with Killers of Flower Moon getting it.
Yeah.
Napoleon I saw as well. Actually, I had high hopes for Napoleon, but kasi I mean, I'm a Ridley Scott guy, eh. So I had high
Yeah.
hopes for Napoleon. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't disappointed honestly, but I was expecting to be wowed given the
Mm.
like the cast, 'di ba? Joaquin Phoenix is there, Vanessa Kirby. So it was just an
Kirby.
okay film. Yeah, but I think it didn't do well in the box office.
Yeah.
And then ito nga si Argylle, for me is so-so. But guys, I think we're forgetting si Apple, they released Coda before, di ba? Yung Best Picture.
Ah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
So I
was
yes.
think
great.
what they're doing
That was a
is,
really good movie.
yeah. What they're doing is they're going for, yun nga, heavy hitters sa award season, di ba? Yung ganong movies. Which is like the opposite of, I don't want to put down Netflix, pero ang dami kasing content in Netflix that is not so good.
Mm,
Mm.
So I think in that sense, parang when you label it as an Apple film, Apple production, parang there's a certain expectation na may quality,
Mhm.
di ba? So I think they have that going for them, and I think yun nga, with that first 3 or 4 projects, they've shown that they're after the talent, they're after quality. So I mean, Quentin Tarantino says he's doing his last film, pero that's the kind of talent that Apple can attract, I think.
Mm.
precisely. Now, before we put a bow on this present, let's give our grades. Ray, I think you posted this na, but what was
Yeah.
your review for Argyle? And then we'll go with you, Jason.
Okay, so I gave it a 6 out of 10. So I thought it had like the action sequences were great, but it was really convoluted. Didn't like the plot. Bryce Dallas Howard wasn't convincing enough for me.
Jason.
Yeah, I agree with Ray. I was kind of in the middle between a 6 and a 7, but it's more of a 6. As pretty as it was, as great as the action sequences were, at the end of the day, the plot was too convoluted for me. So
You know what? I was gonna give it a 6 too, but because you both gave it a 6, I'm just gonna say 6.5. Essentially the same reasons you both gave. It's somewhere between okay and good to me. I think it actually might have been better if they cut it down to like an hour 40 minutes instead of going beyond
mm,
Yeah,
two
exactly.
hours,
Oh,
right? So then that way it, to kind of like almost save the film from itself in terms of being too everywhere and over the top.
mhm.
But
yeah.
also, it again when it comes to movies, shows, anything, it really ultimately depends and comes down to each person and their own perspective of what's great and what's not. All right, now let's
Mm.
do the next segment, which I'm quite excited for. We're essentially going to do a draft. So Ray's going to pick first. I'm
Wow,
going
first
to
pick.
pick. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to go next, and then Jason's going to go third, and then it's going to be snake order. So then in the second
Mm.
round, the order reverses. Jason goes first. I stay in the middle, and then Ray is going to go with the third, and then again, the
Yeah,
order,
Mm.
snakes. So if you guys play fantasy basketball, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Now we're going to do something simple. Basically, we're going to give our picks. I think 4 rounds should be more than enough of
Yep.
either a movie or a show that we're looking forward to releasing in 2024. And we're going to give a quick explanation after we make our selection why it's in our list. Relatively quick at least. And then let's see how it goes. So Ray, are you ready with your first pick?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, is it a mix of movies and TV shows or
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
lang muna?
You can
Okay,
pick
it's a
movie or
mix.
TV show, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, for the first pick, my team picks Madam Web. De joke lang.
I thought you were
Joke lang.
serious for a second.
Joke lang. No, for my first pick, I think, like I said earlier, I'm a Ridley Scott guy. I think I'm going with Gladiator 2.
Knockout!
Oh.
Knockout!
Oh,
Knockout! Tinatago ko yun eh.
I
Man, I was
love
hiding that.
I love
Oh,
Gladiator
kasi I'm a
1.
big fan of the first film. Tapos, I mean, it's Ridley Scott again. So the cast is great. Connie Nielsen is back. Paul Mescal, Barry, how do you say his last name? Keoghan?
Keegan.
Keegan,
Barry
ayun.
Keegan.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and Denzel is there, di ba? That's the icing on the cake.
Guys, isipin nyo, Gladiator, I have that on VHS, DVD,
Wow.
Blu-ray, and now streaming.
Oh, actually, when I watch Gladiator, it still holds up, eh, di ba? It's still a very,
Oh
very
yeah.
good movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's still awesome. It's still fun. It's the kind
Mm,
of show na before if you'd be switching channels. No matter what part of Gladiator, if I end up on Gladiator, I'm staying. I'm not switching
yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
Exactly. Well, all right. So I guess I have the next pick. Hmm. So many great shows and movies to choose from. So much excitement. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to go with Joker 2.
Oh, good
Okay.
call.
The first Joker was insane, insanely good, I would say, and it just takes you through a roller coaster of, you know, emotions and thoughts and analysis and just, you know, realist well ideas of reality. At least that's how I felt. It gave me basically the first film. It gave a great portrayal about how the world can turn anyone into anything, and I
Mhm.
am very curious to see how they top that or match it at least for the sequel. And we get Lady Gaga with Joaquin Phoenix in the sequel. I mean, come on now, Jason, you're next.
Let's see. Wait.
Did you think you'd get Gladiator 2 with your first pick?
Oh, no. I wasn't. Okay. For my first pick, I'm picking something that I saw the trailer just a few days ago for the first time. It's the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Ooh.
Mm.
It's filmed by Guy Ritchie, starring our guy Henry Cavill again, Isaac
Mm.
Gonzalez, Henry Golding, Alan Richson, also known as Reacher, Carrie Elways. So yeah, when it's Guy Ritchie, you also expect a certain amount of action because
Yeah.
he did Man from
Mm.
Uncle, he did he did the Sherlock movies with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law, and he did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch as well. Those are great British movies. So this one, it looks like it's based off real story, but it takes a humorous look at something that happened during World War II. It's a spy action comedy, with they're kind of endorsed by Winston Churchill, this ministry. So I think I'm gonna take that with my first pick,
Henry Cavill seems to be in a lot of these films as of late, huh?
which is great for him. I mean, if he's not going to be returning as Superman, the world is open to him. He's a handsome guy, and he looks like he's a nice guy too. So go for it, man.
Hopefully, he has a better haircut in this one.
Yeah, yes, because that was a really bad haircut in Argyle.
Di
Yeah.
ba?
Okay, Jason, you actually have the next pick again.
Okay, for TV shows, I'm not sure if it's coming back already this year, but if it is, The Bear is my pick because The Bear is my favorite.
Oh,
Is it? I'm not.
Undisputed, it's my favorite show.
Uh-huh. Yeah, me too. Ganda eh.
Yeah. If The Bear is coming back this year, The Bear is my pick. Even if The Bear isn't coming back this year, The Bear will always be
It's
my
still
pick.
the bear.
Yeah, because those first two seasons, just when you think it can't get any better after season one, they blew it up.
Yeah.
It's even
Mhm.
better in season two. Great acting, great cast. Jeremy Allen White, Ayo Edebiri, Eben Moss Backrack as cousin.
Mhm.
It's just a fantastic cast. I still don't know why they're placed in comedy because it's more of a dramedy. I
Yeah.
think it's because I
Uh,
paglaban ng Succession and The Bear during the Succession's final season.
mhm.
But yeah, I've been a Jeremy Allen White fan since he was on Shameless, and he's proven to be really good as an actor, and
Actually,
he can carry a show like that.
buti nga the Bears plays in that category kasi I wouldn't want it to go head to head with Succession, which I also love. So at least they both get to win
Yeah.
something, di ba?
Yeah. So ang nangyari, nanalo si The Bear, talo si Ted Lasso. Sorry.
Yun lang, yeah.
Yun lang.
all
So
right.
that's it.
Yeah. So for my next pick, I'm going to go House of the Dragon season 2.
Yeah.
I'm
Nice
looking
one.
for
Nice
I'm look
one.
I'm looking forward to that one, especially after the way season 1 ended. And actually, unlike the original Game of Thrones series of books by George R. R. Martin, I at least when it comes to reading, I do not know what's going to happen in this storyline with House of the Dragon. So I'm
Same,
very
same.
curious, very excited to see how it all plays out. And considering it comes from the Game of Thrones lore, I pretty much have an idea of what's gonna happen, and that excites me. Ray, the next two picks are you.
The next two picks, okay. So for my second pick, actually I'm surprised baka I'm just the only one who's high on this. Dune 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
pick
Okay.
that
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Parang, yeah, it's one
And
of the more
malapit na
high
yan, ha?
profile. Sorry?
Next month na yata yan, di ba?
Oh,
Next month na
yeah.
ba
It's
yan?
one of the more high profile films for this year, di ba?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the first movie
Villeneuve.
came out during the pandemic, so I wasn't able to watch it in cinemas, which is such a shame. So
Mm.
hopefully Dune 2 makes up for it. Actually, if you ask me now, I don't totally remember everything that happened in the first film. I just remembered being wowed by it. 'Di ba? Kasi ang galing ni Denis Villeneuve, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So star-studded cast again with Timothy Chalamet and all those guys. I think they added who's Elvis again? Austin Butler.
Mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
Yeah, so that's interesting how he
gonna
mixes
be in
in
the
with
Sting
those.
role from the original. Yeah.
Yeah, so yun, that's my second pick.
Okay, and then what's your next pick?
Okay, my next pick is Furiosa.
No,
Oh,
ah, get that.
Yeah, Furiosa. So the Mad Max movie came out like what, five more than 5 years ago. So I
Yeah.
haven't seen it since, but I remember when I saw it, it was like an assault on my senses. It was overwhelming. I felt dirty afterwards. I wanted to take a bath. Feeling ko nasa desert din ako.
Pero
And
sarap panoorin sa IMAX, no?
yes, exactly.
Mad
Oh,
Max in IMAX.
oh,
Holy, wow.
yun. And I think the Furiosa character is interesting. So let's see what Anya Taylor-Joy does with the character.
And it's still George Miller directing, so
Yeah.
good
Oh.
for
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, my next pick. I need to put the Star Wars IP in here because just I love my Star Wars. The Acolyte. And I'm
Ooh.
excited for the Acolyte in particular because we're finally going to get a well, I guess Ahsoka to some degree you could, put in the same category, but in terms of the Jedi and the Sith and that lore, right? Really going deep into that with a TV series because the Acolyte is supposed to be set after the High Republic era and right before the events of the original start, the Phantom Menace, essentially, episode one. And so it will give us a glimpse into the rise of the Sith and how they're able to infiltrate the Jedi before Phantom Menace. So we might see Darth Plagueis, a young Darth Sidious. Who else? We might see other Jedi, other prominent, maybe Count Dooku in these early years.
mm.
So I'm just stoked for that. Jason, you got the next pick, next two picks rather.
I'm
You're
picking I'm picking Ballerina, the
Mm.
John Wick spin-off with Ana de Armas in the lead. I did not like the TV show The Continental, the other John Wick
oh
spin-off.
yeah
That
yeah.
Uh-huh.
was I was slow, man. That was really slow. Even though it was Ian McShane's Winston character in the lead, I found it very underwhelming. But I have high hopes because it's Ana de Armas. And
Mhm.
Len Wiseman's directing. I think Ian McShane and Keanu will be appearing also in the movie. So if it's anything like those John Wick movies, it's gonna be high octane action, really fast, high body count, which we love, you know.
Mhm.
Which is even better, especially on a big screen. So I have to pick Ballerina there.
All right, and your next pick?
Okay, for my next pick, I will choose Beetlejuice. The
Okay,
Mm.
sequel.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, sequel to Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton finally back as Beetlejuice with Tim Burton. So yeah, that I think that's enough to get excited. Just the mention of Michael Keaton working with Tim Burton on the Beetlejuice character again, moving the story forward. I don't know if Winona or Kim Basinger or Alec Baldwin or any of them are coming back, but you have the essential elements. So I'm always hopeful for a Tim Burton movie. His movies sometimes they can be misses also, but in general, at the very least, it's going to be visually great. So yeah.
Mm-mm. Especially in the modern age. Okay. So for my last pick, I'm not certain if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm going to anyway because there's a chance, even if it's a slight chance. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Ah, if it
Um,
gets released,
I mean, look, if you ask me to bet right now whether it's gonna be released in 2024 or not, I'm probably gonna say maybe not, given
uh,
the gap between the first two films. But the way the last one ended and just
mhm,
how they brought that all together, the story, the depth, the characters, the personalities, the action, the graphics, visually appetizing. It to me it's still the best comic book based movie I have ever watched in my life.
mhm,
I don't know if that was a heat of the moment kind of reaction I had when it came out, but that's how I felt about it and that's how I still feel about it because I love the last movie and I'm not sure if this will be the last one in the series, but if it is, I hope they go out with a major bang. Ray,
Mhm.
what's your last pick to close out the
okay.
draft?
For my last pick, I'm going with a TV show. I'm thinking here are my two choices. The Boys season 4, which I really love. I enjoy The Boys. Pero let's go with something new. So I'm looking forward to seeing Fallout.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
if
okay.
you play the games, di ba? If you play the games on PlayStation, that's something that it's interesting to explore. I want to see how they put it on film, how it looks like. Like, yeah, it's a very interesting story. Sana lang they do it justice. Kasi, I mean, if you saw the Lord of the Rings Amazon production, it wasn't so good. Yun. So, anyway, tingnan natin. I have high hopes, sana.
Prime seems to be making big gambles with IPs that have solid bases because they're also coming out with the God of War series, and
Mm.
I really hope to all gods that they don't butcher it because I love that God of War series. But no,
Was
definitely that
Foundation also theirs? Was Foundation also theirs,
not
Prime?
certain. We should,
I think it's Apples.
yeah,
Hmm. What about
Foundation,
Time? Those are the
Apple.
big ones, eh. Yeah, like Wheel of Time was also one of those
Yeah,
big
Wheel of Time is
adaptations.
Amazon.
Yeah, we need
Uh,
more like original content, to be honest. Not kind
Mhm.
of like spin-offs of stuff that we've seen before. But that was a
ito na
great.
lang, i-recommend
Go for it. Go for
for
it.
you guys, you want good acting, good story, and it's concise. The season's only 6 episodes per season. 3 seasons have dropped, and there's a guaranteed fourth and fifth.
Wait. I'm
Slow
gonna guess
Horse,
what you're gonna say. Slow Horses, no?
Slow Horses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
I need
I
to
just
check that
finished it.
out.
It's
Gary
really good.
Oldman.
I'm addicted.
Grabe. Kasi I tried it, Ray. I tried watching it maybe a year, 2 years ago. I couldn't
Uh-huh.
get past the second episode. But a couple of weeks back, sabi ko, then I have to sit through it talaga. Once I
Mm.
got past the second episode of the first season, that show just flew. Galing,
Oo.
galing.
Ganda siya. Tsaka kasi
And
Gary Oldman is nominated, di ba? So I think he went up against, syempre, Brian Cox and, di ba, I'm
Kieran
forgetting my
Culkin.
Succession family. So those
Yeah.
guys. So I was really curious pang Gary Oldman, di ba? Natalo ng nila Brian Cox. So I had to see what I was missing out on. So yeah, it's really great.
Such a disgusting guy, but he's brilliant, di ba?
Oh
Si
yeah.
Jackson Lamb. Galing, galing.
Mm.
I need to watch that for sure. I also need to watch Masters of the Air. I need to get a Apple TV
Yeah,
subscription.
I haven't
Yeah.
started Masters of the Air. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, that was fun, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And my main takeaway really is we have so much to look forward to
Mm-hmm.
in 2024 in terms of TV and film.
Yeah.
Now, the question is where are we going to find or how are we going to make the time to watch all of this without, getting that oh my feeling of just staring at the screen for way too much. But I appreciate your time, guys. I know it was late. Ray, really appreciate you, man. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thanks
joining
for
us,
having
bro.
me. Like always, thank you.